Hello and welcome to A Game of Two Halves, the show where the sports journalism students at the University of South Wales cover all the best sports stories across Wales. I'm Sam Hancock and on this edition of the show I'll be your host. We've got a jam-packed 15 minutes on this show as we focus on the theme of Welsh football. We'll be looking into why Newport could have a second big football club on the rise. We have a peek into just what the students get up to at the USW Sport Park and also a behind-the-scenes look at just what they get up to here at the Cardiff campus's TV studio. I'll also be joined by two USW sports journalism students at different times on the show to discuss their time on the course so far. They've had a number of fantastic experiences to tell us about already. Firstly though, I'll take you through the news headlines for this week. The Six Nations has concluded and as of Saturday, Wales have ended their tournament at 5th in the table, just in front of last place Italy. They faced France away on the final day and despite an early try from George North, the French were able to win fairly comfortably in the end with a score of 41 points to 28. In football, Cardiff City's match versus Rotherham away was called off midway through due to heavy rain. The Bluebirds were 1-0 up at the start of the second half, but the game had to be abandoned despite Jaden Philogene effort just 5 minutes in. The match will be replayed on another date, but in the meantime, the Bluebirds have a South Wales derby to look forward to after the international break. And speaking of Swansea, they enjoyed a comfortable result at home against Bristol City on the weekend. A precise strike from Liam Cullen put the Jacks ahead before the break, and another great finish from Oliver and Cham sealed the 3 points. Swansea are now 7 points ahead of Cardiff, who are 3 points clear at the relegation zone. Here at the University of South Wales, our sports journalism students get the chance to report on live sports every single week. At the USW Sports Park, university fixtures take place and students have the opportunity to work as part of the newsroom, producing match reports, interviews, pieces to camera and more. Here's the full video piece with first year Johan Thomas.
I've learnt quite a lot about journalism and sports journalism. At the sports park especially, it's learned how to operate on the football system, more than just the football because it's a multi-sport level. Learned how to write effectively, fast, and just be on top, make sure that you're on top of it, you don't want to fall behind, make sure you have all the sheets, all your information. And I just feel like I've learnt quite a bit of how to just be sustainable. But on the Wednesdays, I think the role changes every week, which is quite good. But if you're doing a match report, you'll turn up around probably 12 o'clock, half 12. You'll go and you'll have your game set for you on the rota. You'll go and then find your match. So you'll find your match, say you have a football game. You go to the football game and you'll speak so you can find the team sheet. Then you'll have your team sheet on your phone, your laptop or on a piece of paper to make sure you have the names of the players, the numbers of the players for both sides so you can get that done if you have to write, and then you'll do the live tweets for the game so you can keep up to date and it helps you with your match report as well. And then your role really is just to make sure you're being fast, reliable, putting it out, make sure you're getting it correct, don't want to have any of the wrong information given, and then just to effectively just give a good piece of writing out for Expo and for the players as well. I think it's good exposure for the players on the pitch. I feel like it's made my confidence a lot better. I feel like when I first got onto the course I was very sceptical, quite nervous, like going up to people asking them to do things. I feel like that was a bit nervous, but as you go on throughout the weeks you've gained a lot of confidence through just the help. Your lecturers have helped you with that. They've gave you the platform to be able to just go out there, and if someone says no, they say no. So when someone says yes, that gives you more confidence to go and ask more people, which I quite like because they're very enthusiastic as well, because for them when you're interviewing whoever it is, it gives them a platform as well as you, and I feel like people are they want to be interviewed because it gives them experience as well, which is quite interesting and I like it a lot.
Newport is a city that is not so much known for its football, apart from League Two side Newport County. However, they do have a club in the Welsh Pyramid of football that is seemingly on the rise. Newport City have recently been took over by new ambitious owners and look like they could be the next big club in the area. Although they are currently fighting a relegation battle in the third tier, there is a new air of positivity surrounding the club at the moment. Rhys James took a trip down to the Newport Stadium recently to find out more.
For a long time, football in Newport was only known for one club, Newport County, but the other significant club in the area, Newport City, looked like they could be on their way to making a real name for themselves as the next big club in the area. The Steelmen have recently seen a takeover of the club, with the new owners keen to raise the ambitions of the team to entirely new heights. I visited their match on Friday night to find out just what all the fuss is about. What would you say is the fan experience that you want the fans to get when they come here?
It's quite simple, really. It's a warm, welcoming, safe environment for people to come and watch football as a family. I think we're engaging loads of children and schools in Guards of Honour. We're trying to welcome the away fans to come with their young mini and juniors to come here and experience what we can offer here at Newport City Football Club.
We want to build something that is sustainable. We want to make sure that every kid has an opportunity to get involved in it. And the long-term aim is to build something so sustainable that long past our involvement with this carries on, and those generations of kids that come through can then have go on to do whatever they want to in sport and then give back to be the next generation of coaches for generations to come.
As well as two of the club's owners, I also spoke with one of the fans at the game, who was full of praise for both the experience of the match and the new regime.
Yeah, it's been good. It's good, great turnout as well. It's cold Friday night. It's people can be in a lot of places, but it's good turnout. Great pitch. We were here back just before Christmas. I think it was 3-3. A good game. It's if anyone wants, if anyone hasn't been, I'd recommend coming down. If you're a fan of football, it's a good spectacle. It's a good atmosphere. You obviously the hospitality as well. There's the condiments you can have. It's quite. We've been down a few times now. We've been sponsoring you, I think, for about 3-4 months now. So we've enjoyed it. New owners, we were speaking to them earlier. It's good to see what they're doing. So it's good to see a team in our area. Get some fresh investment and focusing on the academies as well is really good to see.
I'm now joined by Louis Holbrook, a third-year sports journalism student here at USW. So Louis, we're nearing the end of our time at uni, really. Has any of your experiences here provided you with any clarity of what you want to do post-uni?
Yeah, massively. I mean, when I was in first year, I was kind of dead set on working in club media. And I've kind of found that through doing the work experience that we've had to do for the course, that perhaps that isn't the right option for me. Maybe the written side of sports journalism, I don't find as enjoyable as, say, like the kind of broadcasting side is what we're doing now. And this module and previous modules that we've done has really made me realise that, and it's definitely something that I want to look into more in the future.
So what steps are you going to take after uni to try and ensure you get one of these opportunities that you so desperately want?
Well, so the first thing that they kind of like instill into us in first year is to make connections, and I think the only way that I can really get my foot in the door and get working within the industry is through the connections that I make throughout the course of the 3 years, and I feel like I've done that. The people that I know now, I know some local radio presenters back home, people that work in broadcasting in London for television shows like Sky, and I just think that being able to talk to them and kind of get them to tell me who to speak to, what to do in the meantime, I think that's really helped me in terms of looking for a job after university.
What's the best piece of advice you've had so far?
I remember in first year we got spoken to by one of the alumni of the course, and we basically got told to just go for it, say yes to everything, and I found that a massive part of what we've been doing in the course. Obviously we didn't get much of a chance in first year to say yes to a lot of things, so in second and third year I've made it my endeavours to just say yes to everything and just to do everything that I can, and through that I think that I've gained a lot from this course, and if I was to go back and talk to first year Louis, that's what I'd say, is just go for everything.
We've had a fun time over the last month or so practicing on making this TV show happen, but continuing with the topic of we're just having a technical issue here. Continuing with what happened, we're going to have another look at what happens behind the scenes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Since February, the third year sports journalism students have come together to work on one of their final projects, which will see them learn how to make TV shows. I spoke to a couple of them to give you a look at just what it's like to learn here and how the project is going.
Yeah, it's really going well actually. Unanticipatedly well actually. It's something that we were all very worried about coming into the project, but being honest, we've settled into it like a duck to water. Yes, there's been errors. Yes, there's been difficulties, but I'd say overall us as a course have come together and done really well.
I think we've come a long way in a short amount of time. I think the hands-on approach that we've taken has really helped harness our skills in a more effective and advanced way. I think we're on track for being able to produce the TV show at a good standard in a short amount of time, to be fair. We've only been doing it for a few weeks, so I feel like it's quite impressive that we've all sort of been able to be a jack of all trades and do all sorts of different types of tasks. So I feel like I'm quite developed now at vision mixing, presenting, producing, and I'm sure other people feel like they specialise in different areas, but we can all do at least probably 3 or 4 very well.
Those on the course have had the opportunity to learn a range of different roles, from producing, directing, presenting and much more. The students were impressed with the learning experience they've been getting at the Cardiff campus's industry standard TV studio.
It's the best you'll find. I'm sure if you go to like the BBC or ITV or Sky, you'll see lots and lots of these effectively, and it's exceptional, and it's really great to be able to utilise these facilities in preparation for potential future roles in the industry.
Facilities are fantastic. I mean, they are really top of the range. I think that's what we need to remember is we're not sure what line of work we're going to after this, so we just need to enjoy it while we're here, because this is a great opportunity for us all, and I feel like we grab it with both hands and really take advantage of the equipment they've provided us.
Presenting, especially, definitely for me, is really important. Using an auto cue as well is huge. So yeah, I'm really excited to continue doing it and hopefully do well in our assessments.
It's been fantastic. It's the kind of thing that you sort of can't imagine yourself doing until you're in the environment, and it's definitely given me something to think about when I leave university as to whether I'd want to go into this, because it is right up my street as of now, and I'm really enjoying myself. I'm sure there'll be a couple of mishaps and nothing's perfect, but I think we're well equipped enough to deal with any problems come our way. I imagine there will be a bit of putting out fires, but I trust our cohort enough to be able to handle it sensibly and effectively. Continue with the topic of just what we get up to here on the course. I'm joined by first year student Matt Priest. Matt has had a number of great experiences so far, including getting the opportunity to report on professional rugby and football. So Matt, going into when you joined the course, because obviously you're still in first year, were rugby and football your priorities?
Yeah, rugby and football have always been my 2 biggest sports. Growing up, I did a lot of rock climbing on the side as well, had GB trials and that, but that's obviously a bit of a niche. So rugby and football in South Wales is obviously big, and that's the sports I've been really trying to push and get myself in.
Do you think you've had enough opportunities presented to you with your time on the course so far?
Oh yeah, definitely. Back in November during the Autumn Internationals, I reported on Wales versus Argentina at the Principality, and I've also been to a couple of Cardiff games at the CCS this season, which have been really good opportunities.
Where did your passion for rugby come from?
Well, growing up in the West Country, I'm a Gloucester boy. It's quite hard not to be a Gloucester fan in Gloucester and not get into rugby. So since a really young age, rugby's always been my standout. It's always been there, something I've really had a passion and a joy for.
How has the course changed you, do you think?
So it made me more confident. I feel I'm much more able to speak to random people than I was before. Like going to the sport park and speaking to managers and coaches and getting team sheets and players themselves, finding interviews and making those interviews happen. That was not something I ever thought I would be able to do before September, really.
What's the best piece of advice that you've had?
Go for it. Just go for it. Any opportunity given to you, take it, because you never know the doors that will open and where it will lead you in the future.
What sort of things would you like to have done by the time you finish the course in 2 years' time?
A lot more of what I'm doing now, really, but just more of an in-depth level. I really want to go and push myself in the rugby scene, in the football scene as well. So these opportunities that I've been given, I want to make more of them, and I want to do it as my job, really. It's really cool.
How are you enjoying Cardiff as a city to live in?
Oh, it's class. It's a really big city. The nightlife's great. The sporting opportunities are great. I really don't have a bad word to say about it.
Have you tried your hand at any sporting activities so far within the uni, or are you just sticking to writing so far?
Yeah, we've got a 6-a-side team every Tuesday, which is at the sport park as well. Results haven't been great thus far, but they seem to be on the mend just now, out of the relegation battle, so nothing more.
Obviously, we mentioned you're still in first year. Do you have an eye on what you want to do after uni at all?
Coming into uni, I thought I'd want to do a lot more written stuff. I thought I'd want to be writing for a newspaper or a media outlet. But further on down the line, I do want to see myself in front of a camera or behind the camera, focusing on the broadcast side of journalism, presenting.
Well, obviously, you've seen us all do this now, the TV studio, as third years.
Yeah.
Are you excited to get involved in this?
Yeah, it looks class. It's something I'm really excited about. It's a module that before I came onto the uni I looked through the handbook, looked through what we were going to be learning, and it's something that sort of stuck out to me. So I've kind of had my eye on it from the start, and I don't want to count the days down for it to come, but I think it'll be really cool.
Well, I think that's all we have time for today after an interesting show as always. A huge thank you to Matt and Louis for providing a great insight into what it's like to study here, and for Johan for speaking at the USW Sport Park. We hope you enjoyed the stories and interviews we had for you in the show, and thanks for everyone for tuning in. Coming up on our next show, we'll be exploring football across local communities. From events and facilities, we'll be showcasing what's being done in South Wales communities to improve participation levels in the sport for everyone. We'll also be joined in the studio by Alex Kingdom, a young West Ham fan who is passionate about disability inclusion in football. We'll see you on the next show. Goodbye.